Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and in this tutorial, I'm teaching you how to make these cute bow zippered pouches. Let's get right into the supplies. So you're going to need 2 of these faux leather sheets. We carry these in our online shop and the link is below. Choose a thread color that matches because you'll do some top stitching on the outside, so pick a color that blends in there. That can be cotton or polyester. Grab your zipper foot since we are making a zippered pouch. And then you'll need at least a 10-inch long craft zipper. This is a number 3 zipper. Something to cut your fabric with. If you're using a rotary cutter, make sure you have the cutting mat that goes with it. You'll also need a ruler so that we can measure out a couple of cuts we need to make, some thread snips, plastic sewing clips, which will help us keep our layers of fabric together, and then of course a working sewing machine that has straight stitch capabilities. Next, we need to figure out what color we want where. So I'm going to use this darker pink as the body of my zippered pouch. It'll look like this with the zipper on top. The lighter one will be the bow. So grab the bow fabric that you chose and cut one rectangular piece at 3¼ inches by 8¼ which is the width of our faux leather sheets. And then we need another strip that measures just 1 inch by 3 inches. Now this little strip is what's going to pinch the bow in the middle. So it's going to be like this. So we need to make a little loop out of it. Place it pretty sides touching, put a little clip there. We're going to stitch down the short edge there using a 3/8 inch seam allowance and a nice short straight stitch length. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the ends. Flip it right side out, and then we're going to grab the bigger piece that's going to be the bow, roll it up into itself, and then feed it through the little loop. And this part is what probably takes the longest because it takes a little bit to kind of open it all the way back up, position everything where you want it. Make sure that the seam that you sewed on that little centerpiece is on the back side so it doesn't show on the front of your pouch. And then just work everything just like you see I'm doing here. Open it all up. And you can have a bow that looks like this. That's one option. That's kind of cute. But I like to pinch a chunk of it in the middle so that I get a couple more folds on each side. And you'll see what my bow ends up looking like right here. So I'm going to go with a bow like this. Make sure that little loop is centered. Now let's move on to the zipper. So open your zipper up a little bit. I'm going to trim off the metal stop there because I don't want to run the risk of sewing over metal. And then from that cut edge, you want to measure 9 inches over. So from end to end, your zipper tape should measure just 9 inches. Okay, so now let's grab the exterior piece. I'm positioning the zipper pull on the left side because I like my pouches to open from left to right, like this. So position where you want your zipper pull to be when the zipper is closed, and then slide it out a little bit. I'm starting off on this top edge here. I want to fold out the zipper tape edge a 45-degree angle towards the outside of the fabric, okay? Place a clip, then you're aligning both of those raw edges, and then you're going to place clips all the way down. When you get to the other end, just open up the zipper tape and fold it out again at a 45-degree angle. You should have a longer tail on this end. That's going to help us hold it. Grab the zipper foot. You'll want to install it into your sewing machine. And then using a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch seam allowance, whatever your zipper foot allows, go ahead and stitch this edge down. Make sure to stop with the needle down when you need to move the zipper pull out of your way. So right there, I'm holding the little tail. It gives me a little bit better grip. Trim away any excess, and this is optional, but you can take a lighter and melt down the edges so that they don't continue to fray. So now that we know that the zipper is installed correctly, we are ready to place the bow on what will be the front of the pouch. So I want you to measure 3/4 inch down from the top edge of the background fabric, that exterior darker pink for me, and then position the bow. Once you place the clips down both sides, head over to the sewing machine, put back your regular foot again, lengthen the stitch length, and we're stitching only 1/8 inch in from the outer edges to simply hold the bow in place. All right, now put the zipper foot back on and lengthen that stitch length to 3.5 or 4, and we are pushing down the zipper tape of the seam we just sewed down towards the inside of the bag so that we can top stitch about 1/8 inch down from where the faux leather meets the zipper. And that's going to help keep the seam allowance down. Because the faux leather is pretty thick, it's going to stay popping up unless you stitch it down at this step, okay? Now, I like to stop about 1/2 inch away from the edge, and I'll just do a quick back stitch there and cut my threads. That side is the easiest. You can see it holds the zipper tape down nicely and looks good on both sides. All right, so now we're going to bring this together so we can stitch up the remaining edge of the fabric and the zipper tape. So open up the zipper pull all the way, just so that when you pull it back, you're closing up all those zipper teeth. And then line up your fabric edges on the side, and that way you'll know where you need to grab the edge of the zipper tape and fold it back again at that 45-degree angle, like this. Place your clip there. You're going to align the straight edges again like we did for the first side and stitch it into place. Remember to fold back the bottom edge of the zipper tape when you get there the same 45-degree angle out, away from the pouch. All right, now we're going to stitch it up. So with your zipper foot on there, shorten that stitch length again because this is a construction seam, and make sure to stop with the needle down and move that metal zipper pull out of your way so you get easy clearance. Stitch all the way down. Try to hold it down there as best you can because you don't quite have the tail end on that other side. Trim everything away, and again, use the lighter if you need to melt the raw edges. And now for the trickiest part of this entire project. We need to top stitch this edge as well. So we need to push down the seam allowance of that zipper tape for the seam we just sewed down into the bag. Place clips if you need to help hold it in place. And then we're going to have to head over to the sewing machine and really do some working here because it's a tight spot where the metal zipper pull is. All right, so here's how I top stitch this edge. I have the pouch wrong side facing out, and I'm positioning the pretty side of it where I need to top stitch underneath the presser foot. I basically like scoop the presser foot inside so that the edge that I need to top stitch is where I want it to be. Try to get it as close to that top edge as possible. You're not going to be able to go all the way because the presser foot kind of gets hung up on the metal zipper pull, but just top stitch as best you can down, and remember to stop about a 1/2 inch away from the edge. Take a quick back stitch and cut your threads. Now we're ready to move on to actually sewing up the sides. So close the zipper a little bit. You still want it a little more than halfway open. And you're going to match up where the faux leather matches on both sides so that you get a nice intersection at the top. Place clips. And then when we get to the bottom, we're going to make this pinched bottom. So I make a loop first, and then I push my finger in the middle to basically make like a little heart on the side like this. Make sure that each fold is about the same length so that it's nice and even. Run your finger down the bottom to work your way across the other side, placing clips if you need to hold it, and do the same thing here. Make that little somewhat of a heart on the side there. Smooth everything out and make sure that the other side matches as well. Faux leather, where faux leather meets on the opposite side, place a clip right there, and then we are going to sew down the sides, sewing right through the folds that we made at the bottom to give it that pinched flat bottom, okay? Make sure that you kind of take a quick peek and adjust anything that you need to. Wherever your folds are should be about the same distance away from the bottom of the bow. So on my side, it looks good. It looks about 3/8 inch on each side. And then we're just going to stitch down both of these short sides. I'm placing the regular presser foot back on. Again, this is a construction seam, so shorten that stitch length. I have mine set to 2 millimeters long, and I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, making sure to take some back stitches at the beginning and at the end. And now we're ready to flip the whole thing right side out. Make sure that when you're grabbing the layers to flip them, you have it so that the pretty side of the bow is facing out like this. Then push out all the corners at the bottom so you can see how cute the pinched bottom turns out. A quick note here, if you make your folds bigger, you'll end up with a wider flat bottom there. Okay, so just keep that in mind for the next one. And then you can poke out the corners on the ends of your zipper and zip it shut. And there you have it. That's how you make my bow zippered pouch. I hope you all enjoyed this video tutorial. Remember that you can get the faux leather sheets in our online shop, and the link is in the description box below. If you enjoyed this faux leather project, you probably will like some of the others. I have several other classes that also feature these faux leather sheets. This is my lacrosse pencil pouch. You can find them using the link I put in the description box below. These work great for faux leather sheets and cork fabric. A little bit more advanced here with the Sweetwater crossbody pouch, another fun project. The faux leather is great because you don't really have to line it. It has enough body on its own. And then this is my color blocked zippered pouch, which is a lot bigger and holds quite a bit of stuff. So we offer over 100 digital video courses that you can sign up for. Check them out with the link below.